I didn't feel like I'm protecting anyone. I didn't feel like I'm helping anyone feeling more safe. I feel like I'm terrorizing people.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my friends. This video is not going to be an easy one, but I think it's really important to see. I'm going to show you some very important clips that I found of Israeli soldiers talking about their experience inside the army and how they eventually come to know that they were on the wrong side and how they left the army. And here are some interviews of the Israeli soldiers talking about why they left, how they came to realize that they were the terrorists, even calling themselves terrorists. It's very, very emotional interviews. You really need to see this, guys. And I think I was very tentative to make this video. I wasn't sure whether I should or not, because look, everyone's making videos on what's going on in Palestine right now, and it's absolutely awful. But I see all these videos and I feel so helpless. I think, what can I do? Like, how can I help these people? How can I help my brothers and sisters? And I feel so helpless. And then I think, like, what are we doing? Us content creators who are making these videos, what are we doing that's actually helping the Palestinians? And then I get down, and then I get sad, and then I realize that, look, by sharing these videos, we are doing something. I mean, take my mum, who's a non-Muslim, for example. My mum often gets confused between Israel and Palestine. Like, she doesn't know about the conflict much. But when everything started kicking off, I was staying away, and I came back home again. And my mum says to me, "Did you see what the terrorist group in Palestine are doing to Israelis?" And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, I saw it on the news. They're going to have a war because all these terrorists in Palestine keep like bombing the Israelis." And I was like, "Oh," because I don't watch the news, like, so I don't see what she's watching. And in that moment, I just felt so sad for my mum, and I thought, wow, like, she's being fed this image that, again, these Muslim terrorists are the bad guys and they're bombing people, they're bombing innocent people. And I just, in that moment, it hit me, and I remember just looking at her and feeling so sad for her. I didn't feel angry at her, I just felt sad for her, because my mum, she doesn't know. And I just wanted to give her a big hug and be like, "Mum, that's not what's happening." And I sat down and I spoke to her, and alhamdulillah, she listened. And you know, my mum is amazing. She respects what I say a lot. So, you know, we sat down, we spoke, I showed her a few things, and then she realized, she was like, "Oh wow, that's not what's happening." So, you know what, it is good for us to share these videos, and it is good for us to speak out, because people who are being fed the wrong image will start to listen. And I guess there's a point where our voice will become louder than the voice of the liars. And that's the point, is making our voice so loud, not loud in an angry way, but loud in a way that we're sharing the message. Make it so loud in a way that people will start listening to us. Anyway, I spoke too much. Let's watch the video. It's a bit of an emotional one, so let's go for it.
2 years that I served in the West Bank, what I've experienced and things that I've done. From bursting into houses in the middle of the night and seeing the families and how they react, till manning checkpoints, arrest operations, and other things that I've done. It's a whole package.
And when you reached that point, were you revolted by what you had witnessed? I mean, once you started to explore all those past incidences, did you start rethinking the whole package?
Yeah, definitely yes. I think mainly for me was learning things about myself way before about the big politics. I went through my service believing that I'm a good guy and that we are the good side. And suddenly I discovered what we've done and what I took part in. And that's why I felt that I need to do something.
And how would you...
הבנתי שכאילו, בשביל להיות שם, אז צריך לשבור להם את הרוח, לשבור אותם. לשבור אותם זה אומר שיחכו, ושיהיה להם בד על העיניים, ושתייחסו להם לא יפה, ושיכתבו מוות לערבים על השכפ"ץ.
And in breaking the silence, we are over 950 combat soldiers who say, occupation, no. Yeah, that is wrong. This is not the path to go.
Is it possible for an Israeli soldier to serve in the territories with a clear conscience?
I don't believe that a soldier who served in the occupied territories has clean hands. It's not that I think that we are all, it's not that every soldier murders innocent Palestinians. Far away from that. But no Israeli soldier who served in the occupied territories, his hands were clean after that. Because at the heart of what you do, there is no way of seeing Palestinians as equal human beings to you. I'll just give you one example, which is, nothing extreme, nothing exceptional, something very routine and banal. I served for 14 months in Hebron. Right now in Hebron, as we are sitting here and having this discussion, there are 2 military patrols that their job is to do what we call in the military to make our presence felt. What does it mean? The military logic says this: if Palestinians will get the feeling that the IDF is all the time everywhere, they'll be afraid to attack. So what do you do to give them this feeling? You make your presence felt. You start your night shift patrol. 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning, 8-hour shift. You walk in the streets of the old city of Hebron. Break into a house, Palestinian house, of course. Not a house we have intelligence about. I'm the sergeant. I lead the patrol. I choose a random house. Wake up the family, men one side, women the other side. Search the place. You can yourself imagine the dynamics, yeah? Climb to the roof, jump from one roof to another, come out through another house, wake the family. And basically that's how you pass your 8-hour shift. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From September 2000, when the second Intifada started, till today, now. It didn't stop for 1 second. Yeah, the idea is that every Palestinian will feel the military is right here. You don't know when we're going to show up, what we're going to do, when it's going to end, how it's going to look like. It's to do what we call in the military, ליצור תחושת נרדפות, to create the feeling of being persecuted. Now, when this is your mission, again, this is not an action of a rogue soldier or officer. This is your mission. There is no way of doing it nice.
I realized that my job is actually to maintain an apartheid system. Very early on, I understood that the rights that the Jewish settlers have are not the rights that the Palestinians have. I understood that I cannot touch a Jewish settler if he is attacking a Palestinian. The best I can do is call a local police department to come handle it, like I would do at home in Jerusalem. So these Jewish settlers that live in Hebron are living under the same rights that I live in Jerusalem, but a Palestinian next to them, next house over, next building over, sometimes next apartment over, lives under my rule, my military rule. And I can do whatever I want with him. I can take his home as a temporary base for a few hours, to a few days, to a few weeks. I can decide that I'm arresting the people of the house and tying them up to the fence of my base. If we will get an order to demolish their home or just lock their front door and don't let them out into the street their house is on, a street that only Jewish settlers can walk on and Palestinians cannot. So they have to walk through windows to yards, into the other side, into the Kasbah of Hebron. I think realizing all of that in a very, very early stage in my service helped me understood that someone was lying to me along the way. I didn't feel like I'm protecting anyone. I didn't feel like I'm helping anyone feeling more safe. I feel like I'm terrorizing people. I feel like for the first time in my life, the boundaries between good and bad that I learned as a kid, and obviously I learned that I'm on the good side, was broken. I felt like I am the terrorist. And my job was literally to scare people so they cannot think about acting against the Israeli settlers or the Israeli military. That was actually our defined mission, to make sure that to instill fear in the hearts of Palestinians in Hebron. And that's exactly what we did.
You know what, it is incredibly stressful to watch these things. So I want to say that you guys, my brothers and sisters out there who are watching all of these things, who are keeping up to date with what's going on in Palestine, mashallah, you're doing good. You are on the right path to bringing justice, inshallah. And it's good that you have the empathy to care about people that are not yourself and your own family. So mashallah, that's amazing. Because a lot of us nowadays, we just care about ourselves, our family, and that's it. We don't care about anyone else. So keep up the passion, keep up the good work, keep up the empathy, the caring, but be kind to yourselves. Because if you're anything like me, I'm probably too much of a ball of emotion, to be honest, but if you're anything like me, you can sometimes start feeling down when you hear about all these things and you realize that there's not really much you can do to help. You can feel really down when you're doing all this activism and I care about Palestine, I do this, and then the country that you live in starts sending, I don't know, military weapons to Israel to start killing more Palestinians, and it can make you feel down. Or it's really not easy. just take care of yourselves is the main thing I want to say. Just really take care of yourselves. Make sure if it's getting you down, if it starts affecting your everyday life, if you start being irritable and angry with people and mean, then take a break from it. Really, seriously, because we don't want to have an ummah of people walking around just being angry and mean to each other all the time. We want to keep ourselves sane and good, so just be careful. But also keep in mind that the Palestinians can't take a break. They can't take a break from it, even though I'm sure they wish they could for the sake of their kids, for the sake of their family. They can't take a break from it because they live in it. It's not their choice, but it's what's happened to them. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys again very soon.